People, this is the video I've been wanting to do for a long time. And it's a hard one to do because this is about me. But it is something that has brought me to an understanding. So I'm going to start off this way. When you were born into this world, you are taught two things by your parents. Probably before you can even speak words. You're taught at least one of two things, but maybe both things, by the people who supposedly love you, had you, conceived you, wanted you supposedly. Now, these two things you are taught usually, in my opinion, is love or hate. Now, yeah, as a baby, of course, you're not going to understand that. I'm using these words because you know the definitions of them. You are taught love or hate by your parents. More than likely, by the time you are in school, there's some things they have taught you to love and hate both by that time. But these are the first two things you are taught. If your parents spoil you, and you have a childhood that you live in a nice neighborhood, you live in a nice city or township where they have good schools and it's a newer city, not an older city where there's, bad parts of town, a smaller town where you don't have like cities in New York, Philadelphia, Virginia, stuff like that, where the town's been there since 1600s, 1500s, 1400s. Older cities where you got, where the buildings are old, nobody's got the money to tear them down. People are still trying to use them and shit like that. There's some cities, and I'll tell you what, if you go out towards in Arizona, that was one of the last states brought into the Union. And out there, you don't find anything older than 100 years. One of the oldest houses that I saw out, and I never paid no attention to this. I did. My mom had a thing about history, and we went to Washington's Mount Vernon, and we went to a lot of historical places that I know were a couple of 100 years old. But I didn't think this stuff was all over the world, or all over the world. Hell, even in other countries like England and stuff, you got them old towns. But out in Arizona, Mesa, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona area, this area, the oldest thing out there was a 100-year-old home that was one of the original farms. That was the oldest place, 100 years. Everything else was all brand, and most of it was brand new. You didn't see, there was no old parts of town because everything was built within the last 50 years when I was out there. 20 years ago. Uh, so everything was new, stuccoed. I mean, you didn't see old brick buildings downtown or nothing like that. You didn't see that shit. Not out there. And but I want to get back to what I'm saying. I grew up in a town in the 1960s, or well, I was born in 1963, folks. I'm going to be 59 in 2 months. I was born in Nashville, Tennessee, and my family moved from Nashville to Indiana. I think it was about 2 years after I was born, and my brother was born 2 years after we moved to Indiana. Now, by the time my brother was born, we were living in a town called Greenwood, Indiana. These towns exist, folks. You can look them up. You can even look up the dates that I'm going to tell you. And everything I'm telling you is going to be a fact. Now, I started in, when we moved to Greenwood, Indiana, I was in the 2nd grade. So I must have been what? My birthday was always at the end of the year, so I was always a year younger, it seemed like, than anybody else in my class. Everybody else would be 15 or 8. I'd be 7 or 14. Because my birthday always came after the school year was over. It'd be the next year before I was the same age as everybody else in my class. But anyway, the town I grew up in, like I said, I got there in the 2nd grade, and I went all the way through and graduated high school from. Now, in this town, folks, this state of Indiana, it was the most, well, I can't say the most. It was one of the top 10 most racist places in America, North America, in the United States. Make no mistake about that. We had Greenwood, is where I grew up. Just south of there, we had New Whiteland. Then we had Whiteland. North of there, we had Whitestown. I'm thinking Whitesville somewhere, but I'm not going to claim that. But there was townships. Many things had to do with white. Now, from the time like I said, I moved to Greenwood in 1962, no, I was born in 1963. I moved to Greenwood when I was in the 2nd grade. This town had no black people. No, none. Until, let's see, I graduated in 1981. It must have been about 1978 or 79. Wasn't a black family in Greenwood, Indiana. Whiteland or New Whiteland. Maybe even as far down as Trafalgar, Indiana. But in Greenwood, Indiana, we were right on the outskirts of Indianapolis, where Indianapolis was Marion County. Greenwood was the beginning of Johnson County. Now, Marion County was Indianapolis. There was blacks everywhere up through there. Blacks and whites. just like any other normal city you go to. Well, blacks, whites, Mexicans, Asians, they had them all. Not Greenwood, Whiteland, New Whiteland, Franklin. Maybe even all the way down, like I said, to Trafalgar. We had a road called County Line Road. It separated Marion County from Johnson County. When I grew up there, black people came across that county line during the day. They did not cross that county line at night, but they only came into our town. They were not allowed to live there. The guy that is mayor of that town today, if he's still mayor, Mark Myers, he went to school with me. He graduated the same year I did. His dad was the mayor when I went to school. If that tells you anything. Now, the state of Indiana was ran by a wizard of the KKK. If I'm remembering right, now, and I'm not going to say I am on this thing. I think he was even governor. But if he wasn't governor, he had control of the governor. Now, when I was a kid, we ran the south side of Indianapolis. That's where everybody cruised. They started at Garfield Park and went all the way up through the south side. Now, this involved all races, folks. This wasn't the town I grew up in. We hung out on the south side of Indianapolis. We weren't scared of nobody. Nobody was scared of us. We all just hung out together. I'm talking about people back when you saw Challengers and Chargers and Chevelles, and you saw the Corvettes, and you saw the all the muscle cars, man. Everything from Mustangs, Mach 1s, the 60s and 70s, the real ones, the all-metal ones. We're cruising the south side. That's what we were riding in. And that's where we hung out on the weekends. If we weren't there, we were at the outdoor movie theaters where we all partied and shit. Today, I'm seeing all this shit about Joe Rogan and Joe Biden and other people being accused of saying the word. I'm going to say it. It might upset the fuck out of some of you, but I'm going to say it. The word nigger. I guess they're trying to crush Joe Rogan for this. We all know Joe Biden said it. Well, if you've lived in America for the last 30 years, at least, I want any one of you to say you've never used that word in any way, shape, or form. Any one of you. Don't look me in the eye and tell me that shit. I know better than that. Now me, I've used it. I've probably used it more time than I've used the word the, to be honest with you. I don't use it anymore. And it ain't I didn't stop using it because it upset anybody. I stopped using it because I don't like the word. If you want to use it, it don't upset me. I don't care. But I'm not going to use it. I don't use it You know what? I haven't used it in, I could say, at least about 3 or 4 years. I have never. I used to, man. I used to throw it around. It didn't matter who you was. I think I called my dad a nigger many times, but he was a very racist person when I was younger, and that's why I called him that. Now, I this, this is what is so ridiculous to me. Everybody wants to keep talking about this. Everybody wants to keep this race shit going. Now, I want to tell you something. When I left Indiana, I went into the military. And I just told you, folks, I grew up in an all white town. Blacks were not allowed. I went into the military right after high school, 1982. That ain't a place to be racist, by no means. But I still was, because I was taught that hate by my blood family. And I fought with black guys first week in the military, in basic training. And they fought with me. I didn't have a problem with fighting with it. I didn't. See, this was the whole thing. I wasn't scared of any race. I wasn't scared of any man, woman. I had so much hate in me from my blood family. No one scared me. I did not have a problem. It wasn't a racist thing. I hated everybody. I hated my parents. I hated God. I hated Jesus. I hated my sister, my brother. I hated all authority. I hated everyone. And I was taught that by my family, my blood family. I was finally released from the military because of my lungs and heart problems. I was released under medical conditions, medical reasons under honorable conditions in 1983. I moved. As soon as I got home, they sent me home. I didn't want to go home. And I kept telling them, I don't want to go home. And they said, well, you can't stay here. You can't stay in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. We're sending you home. You can stay around here, but you can't stay here. So they put me on a bus, sent me home. They flew my ass in when I swore in. They flew me into Fort Sill. But then they sent me home on a freaking bus, 3.5 days on a Greyhound. But I got home, I packed my car up. I had a 1973 Plymouth Fury 2. I packed that son of a bitch up and left for Florida. Now, I went down there and I had no fear, folks. We were going into what? We lived in West Palm Beach, me and my cousins, hillbillies. We lived in West Palm Beach, Florida. We were going clear down into Fort Lauderdale and Miami to buy drugs, weed. That was what we were buying. We weren't buying coke or heroin or none of that. We were into weed. And we found out that we could go down to these places and we could get weed cheap from the niggers. They sold them to us as nigger nickels. That's what we called them. $5 bags, Ziploc bags packed with weed. They called them Or we called them. Everybody called them nigger. We're going to go down and get some nigger nickels. This was back in the early 80s, folks. Miami and Fort Lauderdale. I went down there because I wanted to hang out in Miami and Fort Lauderdale during spring break every damn year. I wanted, and I did. 2 weeks I'd take off during spring break. Even I lived right there. And when all them college kids came to town, started partying, I went to the damn motels and partied with them. That's what I did. Met a lot of different people from all over the damn world doing it. I had people down in Florida. A guy, I worked for Florida Power and Light. I went to work for Florida Power and Light when I got down there. I also did shit like restaurant dishwashing and stuff. Before I landed that job, I was doing other things. And I was working, we were doing, we were running recycling equipment because they were taking down all the power lines. They had to swap them out every few years because the salt water and the salt in the air and shit ate the power lines up. So they'd go in, roll them up, or take them all down, put up new ones every few years, and we would recycle all those old power lines. And there was a guy that started working there with us, and he was a black guy, and he told us to call him Slick. So we did. I didn't even really know his real name. I would just called him Slick. That's what he told me to call him, and I called him that. And he found out I smoked weed, and so he asked me, "Hey, you want to buy some weed?" I said, "Well, what you got? Let's talk about this." So we talked about it. He goes, "I can get you this." I ain't gonna tell you what it was. It was weed, though. It was some good shit. He goes, "But the only thing I can tell you is I won't sell it to you unless you come down to the town and walk into the bar and buy it from me." What's that got to do with anything? I'll go in there. And he goes, "No. You got to come down." And he even called it, "You got to come down to Nigger Town." I said, "So?" He goes, "It's a bar right in the middle of this town. There is no white people in that damn bar, Brian," is what he told me. I said, "So? I ain't going in there to sit down and drink or anything." He goes, "Man," he goes, "you come in here at this time, I'll be in the bar." He goes, "You walk in that bar and I'll say," and he made me a killer deal. So I said, "I'll be there." I drove my damn Plymouth Fury right straight down into the middle of that town. I pulled up to that bar that he told me was an all-black bar. I got out of my car, I walked into that bar. And when I walked into that bar, everybody in that place stopped and looked dead at me in my eyes. I looked around and I didn't see old Slick in there. It was packed. I walked over to the bar, and the bartender walked up to me and he goes, "Yeah?" I go, "I'm looking for Slick." He goes, "He's back over there in the back corner, back over there at that last table." I said, "Cool." Didn't order a drink, nothing. I walked straight back down to that table. Old Slick is sitting there laughing his ass off. He's laughing his ass off because nobody in the bar is still looking at anything but me. I walk up to him. I said, "Hey, I'm here." He's laughing so fucking hard he reaches in his pocket and he slaps it down on the table. I go, "How much you want for it?" He goes, man, you earned it. Get the hell out of here before somebody hurts you. I said, why? Are they going to hurt me? And he goes, I'm sure some of them want to, but just get the hell out of here. I said, why do they want to hurt me? I ain't going to do nothing to them. He goes, get the fuck out of here. I picked it up, put it in my pocket, and I walked the fuck out, got in my car, and left. My roommates heard it. They know because the Slick told them the next day. One of my roommates worked with me at Florida Power and Light. Told my roommate exactly what I did. Now, this clown, I got off from work, and he asked me if he could borrow my car. He was going to go get some weed. My roommate, he drives my car down to that same damn bar. Him and my other roommate. Well, I told him, hey, yeah, hurry up. I'm going to get in the shower. And when I get done, I got a girl I'm going to go meet. They said, we'll be right back. My two roommates jumped in my car, same car I drove down there in. They went down to that bar, had the window down, sitting with the car in drive. One black guy walked up to him and asked him, well, you want some weed? Want some nickels? They said, yeah. About that time, about 50 of them came around that damn bar, out from around the corners of it, surrounded my damn car. My roommates are in. One of them reached in, pulled the damn gear shifter up into park, turned the car off and took the keys out while my damn roommate was driving. He sat there and let it happen. Next thing that happened, a cinder block came through the windshield and landed in the guy's lap that was driving my car. The passenger, he had a pair of shorts on, and that was it. No shirt, no shoes, and no service. He jumped out of the car while they was beating on the guy driving my car and ran across the cornfield barefooted that was just freshly chopped down to about a stalk about that tall off the ground. He was so scared, he ran pieces of stalk up into his foot running from them guys. Caught up with a truck that stopped at a stop sign and jumped in the bed of the truck yelling, leave, hurry, go, go, go. And they took him off and took him to the hospital. My roommate was beaten pretty bad. He was taken to the hospital. And the sheriff's department calls me because both my roommates said, we're not calling him and telling him his car is still sitting over there and it's busted. They were too scared. So they had the sheriff call me. And the sheriff said, your car's sitting down here in Nigger Town. What do you want to do with it? The windows are busted out of it. Tires are all sliced on it. What do you want to do with it? I said, I'm going to go in there and get it. They lined up officers with shields and everything, shotguns and AR-15s, and had a tow truck come up behind them into that town and haul my car out of there. They wouldn't let me go in there and get it. When I got to it, the windshield was shattered. All the other windows were busted out except the driver's side window. I looked around, found a bar, and I ripped the rest of the windshield out of it. Paid the tow company. I said, you got any tires that I can put on this thing? They said, yeah, we'll have them on there. And they gave me a price. I paid them for it. And I drove that damn car home. Now, they threw a rock through the back window so hard, busting the window, that it ripped through the back seat and stuck in between, or it ripped through the back of the front seat and stuck in between the springs. Same bar I walked into by myself and bought a bag of, or was given a bag of weed for doing it. People, this racist shit is for the birds. It's for the division. I've said the word nigger, and about everybody else in this doggone country has said it. Grow up. Some of you said it stupidly. Some of you said it when you was pissed. Some of you say it clowning around. You gonna blame Joe Rogan and Joe Biden? What, you gonna punish them for saying it? When you said it your damn selves? What's wrong with you people? Who gives a fuck? They're words. And they're not even curse words according to the Bible. If you have freedom of speech, then you have the freedom to say the word nigger, and I don't care if it's on nationwide TV as a president. If you're stupid enough to do it as a president, don't expect to see a second term. But you can still do it. What the fuck is wrong with you people? You just want to be divided. Now you're going to try to tell people, oh, well, you can't say nigger and you can't call a girl a female or a baby maker a female or a girl or something. That's wrong too. What's next? I got to call a guy that had his dick cut off. He's in the Olympics because he can't beat men swimming. He has his dick cut off, has a boob job done, and now he's breaking records in the swimming competition in the Olympics. He's blowing them away so bad it ain't even funny. And I'm supposed to call him a woman? No. Nah. You people make up your own damn shit. You just want to be able to call somebody something. A racist, a nigger, a moron, a fucking... You just gotta call somebody something to belittle them, to make you feel better about your damn selves. And if you're calling people these damn names, now, I call y'all morons. So I'm just as damn guilty. That's just as bad as nigger. I'm sorry, it's still just a word. You guys ain't never going to win nothing back. You're never going to get nothing back. Now, I really don't even believe in the Constitution no more. I believe in God's word, God's law. That's the law of the land. But the Constitution of the United States is something that's forced on us and claims it exists. But I don't agree with it either because of the fact that it said all men were created equal, but still allowed blacks and Indians and Asians and other people to be enslaved. Women to be enslaved. So no, I don't agree with the Constitution on that. And why they didn't get that right in the first place, I don't even know. Other than because society said it was okay. Just like today's society says a man can marry a man, a woman can marry a woman, that women can abort all children if they want to. Hell, even in some cases up to 9 months after the child is even born. So no, I did not agree with any kind of slavery that the Constitution allowed. But I damn sure don't agree with your Satanistic society today. And the pedophilia, the abortions, the crap that the doctors and the scientists and the authorities are all getting away with. That's worse than the word nigger. That's gazillions of times worse than the word nigger. And you guys are all backing this shit. Well, strike me down. I've used the word nigger more than once in this damn show. And I'm sure there's going to be some fucking idiot that comes out and says, all I am is a white guy getting off on saying the word nigger. No. All I am is a free man. And by God, if I want to say that word, I will say it no matter who's standing the fuck there. I didn't stop saying it because somebody didn't like it. I stopped saying it because I wanted to. I was being told by Jesus not to. Not by no man of any color. And if you ain't man enough to admit this same thing, you're just lying to your damn self. Man, woman, or whoever you want to be called. Whatever you want to be called. That's me, people. And I love y'all. Let's hear or see if any of you will admit to your own ignorance. That's why when I say a man was arrested or a woman, I don't claim black or white or it's a man or a woman or a child. Doesn't matter what the race. That's what I choose. Not you didn't make me choose that. I chose that. And if somebody has forced you not to say something and you didn't make that choice on your own, you're a fucking coward. And I'll tell you to your damn face. Watch and see. Love you guys. Till the next one.